arrested the manager of one of Benidorm hotels. What was he doing? Something that tourists never ever see, but is happening more frequently than what you might think. Lifeguards in Benidorm are screaming in the voice of alert and saying, please don't do these things, because this summer, which is half of summer right now, technically, there's been a record amount of people that they tried to save in the Mediterranean Sea right here on Benidorm beachfront. What are the most common issues and why people need to be saved? What is going on? You'll discover it in today's news update, plus the weather forecast and the tourism update with things to do and places to see. If you want to know slightly more, stay tuned in this video up until the end. Let's begin. First of all, let's talk shortly about tourism update. As you all know, we are heading full speed towards the end of August, and even so, it is still the busiest month of the year. It is the most expensive month of the year, and at the same time, there's plenty of people here because we've just finished the long bridge weekend, when a lot of people were getting around 4 days off at work due to bank national holiday last Friday, and people were heading full speed here to Benidorm town to enjoy their holidays, which is why all this area was crazy packed. It was overwhelming to be outside, especially on the beach. Right now, a lot of these people, national tourists, went back home, so it's slightly better. This probably is the last busiest, like insanely busy week of this summer, because at the end of August, a lot of us already are preparing for the school year. We are heading back home. We do our usual things. We get back to work. We start going shopping for the school because here in Spain it starts the second week of September. So there's still some time to go up until then. But people already are thinking about going back to the reality from their holidays. So just 1 week more to go, and it's going to be slightly quieter in the region. Their crafts market in the Old Town is also available up until the 25th of August. El Cisne Flea Market, all the local markets, the viewpoints, the sports, the water activities, all of it, museums, everything is available for you for quite some months still. Many things will start to decrease in quantity starting from 1st of November, which is when we officially kind of enter the winter season. But as we've seen last year, it's still really, really busy. Let's continue with the second news. And this one, I knew some things are happening inside of the hotels. As a former hotel industry worker, I'm really, really well aware that what tourists see is not exactly what's happening behind in the hotel industry. This is something that caught us off guard. We didn't expect this to happen at all. One of the managers of a restaurant and bars, like Maitre, they're calling them here Maitre. This is the person who's in charge of restaurants and bars inside of the hotel. And he's in charge of all the shifts, of all the planning, organizing, everything, etc. So in one of Benidorm's quite famous hotels, obviously we cannot say the name for legal reasons, the restaurant manager was arrested and right now might go to prison or might face quite a strong fine and some legal actions against him, because he was charging 100 euros per month from the salary of his team workers, imagine that, to make their life tolerable at work. And if you were not paying this 100 euros, he would make the life miserable with impossible shifts, ending up at 1, starting at 7 in the morning, no days off, or really, really random, like actually a hell at work. And he had a hand in actually making the staff work. So he was one of the ones in charge with the lead manager to sign the work contracts and make the shifts and get the shifts approved, etc., etc. So those who wanted to get better shifts, better working schedule, or actually be able to survive this work, they paid him monthly 100 euros. And those who started to say, that's not all right, that is bizarre, I won't do it, that is insane, He made their life miserable so much that these people, out of the stress and impossible working conditions, had to quit by themselves. Not being fired, but they quit themselves the job because they were not able to survive there any longer. One of these workers gave the voice of alarm and the police started to investigate. Many of people who work there, they decided they will not be saying anything to the police because they are afraid they will lose their jobs. Honestly, it is better to lose it than stay in this type of place. Hotel industry here has plenty of job spaces for a lot of people. And trust me, there's hell hotels here that are trying to show that they're great for tourists, there is luxury, there's nice environment, or there's some good food. They're trying to show that they're perfect. But behind all of this, workers are suffering so much. It is bizarre. You cannot even imagine what some of these workers are going through daily. And we were in a complete shock. We knew a hotel industry is not perfect. It's far from being perfect, trust me, with an exception of a couple of hotels in Benidorm that do actually treat their workers really well, the same way they do tourists. But we did not expect people actually doing this and making life of the staff so miserable. Hopefully he'll get what he deserves, honestly. And the last news is actually it has something to do with the peak tourism season in general, the summer season, because that's when the water is warm. That's when people are going for swim. Usually it's from May month up until like November, end of October, which is when we see people going into the water. But the truth is that during the peak summer season this year, it was actually like a black summer, we call it, which is when we've had so many emergency calls. It is impossible to believe almost daily, several times a day, emergency workers are heading anywhere in Benidorm, or to the beach, or towards the natural park, to calas, like hidden small beach areas, towards the natural park where people underestimated their possibilities, did something to their ankles, or fell down, or are afraid of heights and cannot go down anymore. People who fall down because they go down risky paths which they shouldn't be going, and sometimes this ends up like a fatal, sadly, event. So emergency departments actually did post a statistics right now, and up until today's day, which probably is going to be a couple of them more, there's been 67 emergencies where they had to go for a rescue in Benidorm. 67 more or less, where they actually had to go with a car with plenty of people to rescue people out, either from the sea or from the nearby natural parks. And there's two main reasons only why this is happening. Two main reasons. One of them is a sedentary lifestyle of people, because people do not move at all, and this is not good for the body. They stay a long time on the sunshine with no sun hat, no umbrella, no nothing. They just fry themselves like this without anything covering or protecting them, and they get a heat stroke or they get a heart attack directly because of the heat. The heart cannot cope with such amount of heat, and organs start to fail, and that's the end of it. Others are eating so much at the hotel's buffet that their heart cannot handle it, and they also get a heart attack. Because why? Because hotels, a lot of them have all inclusive, and people go to the buffet like, oh, I'm gonna sweep all of this, I'm gonna eat all of this, I'm on holidays, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna relax. Well, emergency department is waiting for you then, because a lot of people get everything from the buffet. They eat quantities which they do not normally eat, and that's difficult for the body. And being in a 40 plus degrees, obviously makes it way worse. It's a lot of stress for the body. And immediately after eating whole, like giant meals, people have a lot of alcohol to drink, and then they're heading to the beach to swim. That is when the body says, that's my limit, I'm gonna go, goodbye. And this is what's happening to a lot of people right now. So it's no joke. Mediterranean Sea can seem calm and quiet and safe place, and it is. However, you have to think that everything that you do on holidays, which is different from what you're usually doing, you have to think that how your body will respond. And many people who are coming here who are doing nothing but eating, drinking a lot, and staying by the beach, especially if a person is not healthy as per se, or has some health problems, health issues with the heart. These people end up in the hospital if they're able to make it to the hospital. Have some walks, discover around, move a little bit. Don't drink and eat too much before heading to the beach or to the swimming pool, please. Avoid peak hours of the day with the sunshine. Hydrate yourselves really, really well. Drink a lot of water. Avoid direct sunlight. I know you want to get tanned, but trust me, it's going to end up badly for you if you will do it that much without taking all the necessary precautions. You will still be tanned by the end of your holidays, but don't try and do it throughout the whole entire day on the sunshine, because this never ever ends well. And more than 65 emergency rescues through half of the summer, and some of them were fatal. So trust me when we say it's no joke. You have to be cautious when you're coming on holidays. Coming on holidays doesn't mean people have to get crazy and do everything to the max to be able to enjoy their holidays. Because sometimes the only thing they get is an emergency rescue, which not always ends up well. And now let's talk about the weather forecast. What is happening right now? Because yesterday, Benidorm was like a living hell for the heat. Trust me, it was the worst day ever. And today, it might be slightly lighter or more or less the same as it was yesterday. Not sure why, but for some reason they say the heat wave is over, or it will be over, and it continues. But we have a good news for you. Heat wave does have its ending day, and it's going to be today or tomorrow maximum. And we'll get back to our usual temperatures, which is great. We're anxious to be in a normal weather when we can go outside on midday without actually feeling dizzy and getting a headache from the sunshine. Honestly, even us locals, it is too much for us. And I cannot even imagine for people who are tourists who are not used to this type of extreme heat. We've seen international tourists with hand fans and a lot of fans, like in general, like this, because they were red of how hot it actually was. And they were in the shade, not on the sunshine, by the way. So this type of weather finally comes to its end, and probably it's not going to be happening up until next summer anymore, unless there's like a small heat wave in September, which I highly doubt. So great news, it's probably the last one of this summer, at least that intense as this one was. More than a week with bizarre temperatures. Worst one being right now, yesterday and today. And there's going to be some clouds, and towards Wednesday this week, so the day after tomorrow, it might even be raining in the area, which is great. Us having an extreme fire alert, we're in extreme highest risk possible of a fire alert. North Spain is burning to the ground. Galicia, Asturias, León, Cáceres, Zaragoza, plenty, and in Malaga also. There's a lot of parts. Mostly the worst one is North Spain, burning to the ground. It is bizarre what's going on. Here, so far, fingers crossed, nothing will happen, please, because we are also in an extreme fire risk. So we're cautious. We're watching the mountain every single day, the natural park. If we see some kind of fire, some kind of indicator, we'll call the firefighters as soon as possible, but we're monitoring it closely because it's really, really close to us. It's close to Benidorm. It's close to all the nearby touristic villages, and we need to monitor it closely just in case something happens. But by Wednesday, there should be clouds. There might be some rain, and towards the end of the week, there's going to be clouds mixed with sunshine. As for the temperatures, today still 36, 37 actual degrees up until 40 on the sunshine if you stay long enough, the real feel. So still quite a difficult day. But starting from tomorrow, temperatures will drop and it's going to be like 30, 33 with real feel up until 35. Comparing with what we've had, this is still a very, very good temperatures, trust me. And towards the end of August, more or less, it's going to be plus 30, typical weather. September will be plus 30, 29, 28. It will start to drop a tiniest bit, a few degrees, but still will be a great time for you to come on holidays, because I know a lot of you are. The water in the Mediterranean in a lot of places like Alicante reached 32 degrees. 32, the water temperature. When 32 is outside, actually, it's like the same. It doesn't really even make any sense to go into the sea because you'll be exactly the same, just wet, humid, as if what you've been outside. It doesn't make any sense any longer. Here in our area, the water temperature is like 28, 29 degrees, which is still all right. Slightly up north is slightly cooler, so it's great. But here, Murcia, like all these coastal areas, quite a lot is going on. It's really, really hot. We're trying to cope the best we can with what we got. So if you're coming right now on holidays, a lot of water, hydration, sun hats, umbrellas, stay on the beach, in the sea, in the swimming pool. Try to cool down as much as you can because this type of weather is really tricky. You feel great 1 minute and the other you have a headache already, which means that you have to go immediately into the shade and cool down a little bit. Thank you for accompanying us in today's Benidorm News Update. We wish you a great day, great holidays if you're coming on one soon, and we'll see you with a brand new video here on the channel this evening. Bye!